They asked me, when would this start to settle in, this accomplishment. And I think it is right now. So bear with me. Hopefully I can get through this without, let's get through this. Well, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I want to take this time to give thanks and all glory to God. It's by His grace. It's by His grace that I stand before you today. Through His favor, I've been blessed with this talent and fortitude needed to play this game, and without Him, none of this would be possible. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the selection committee and everyone else involved in nominating me for such a prestigious award. To be recognized and included in such a distinguished and accomplished group of men is very, very humbling, and I'm truly grateful for this honor. To Mr. Rooney and the Rooney family and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, thank you for giving me this opportunity to grow, learn, and contribute to the legacy that is Pittsburgh Steelers. 30 years ago, you took a chance on a young man from a small town from Oklahoma, and through your support and belief in me, I was allowed to pursue my passion for this game. Along the way, I've encountered a lot of amazing people. I've established a lot of lasting friendships, and I've raised 4 extraordinary young men who will ever be connected to this great city of Pittsburgh. For that opportunity, I will always be thankful. Now I have to give a special thanks to probably the most important person in my life, and that's my wife, Joy. You see, I've heard that beside every great man stands a great woman, and I'm not saying that I'm great, but it's through her love and her support and belief in me that's given me the strength to chase greatness. This recognition and this honor, I couldn't have done it without her, and the results is definitely something that, I contribute to just her support and always believing in me. And it's always a good day regardless of what happens at the office. So that's always something that's kept me going. She's been by my side. We started this journey a long time ago, and I've known my wife since we were in high school, so it's been a long journey, and it's brought us here today, and I couldn't imagine doing it with anyone else besides her. Thank you, babe. Oh, I'm almost done. I think I can make it. In closing, I want to leave you with this. I was once asked what makes the Pittsburgh Steelers different from other organizations. And the first thing that came to my mind was the word family. When you walk into the facility, there's definitely a sense of community and the close-knitness between not only the players, but just everyone, people who work in the cafeteria, the secretaries. It's always been a sense of tight-knit community. And then you look at the brotherhood and the bond that you get when you step into that locker room. And to borrow a line from our present coach, Mike Tomlin, I think it's, like he says, the standard's the standard. And, I see other teams and they try to emulate what we have, but I think that's one thing that makes it special. It's not something that they can emulate. It's something that we've always done, and it's always something that we strive to do. And if you look at it, greatness is something here that's not hoped for, it's expected. And I think that's what makes us different from other franchises. That's what makes this city different from other cities when it comes to this game, is that when we wake up on Sunday, whether you're a fan, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, we look forward to having a great day. Thank you.
Hey, man. Look out, man. I just want to thank the Rooney family and the selection committee for selecting me for this great honor. I'm humbled, man. Mr. Art Rooney, Mr. Dan Rooney was my guy before he laid it down, man. And I love that family, man. They really show love, man. Look out for me. I really want to give a big thanks to Coach Cowher, Kevin Colbert, Omar Khan, those guys coming down to University of Texas and come and watch me work out and giving me the opportunity to come here and display my talents and come down here and play for this great organization, man, this storied organization. I never really knew nothing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I grew up an Oilers fan. You know what I mean? I'm down south. Hey, man, ain't no Oilers no more, so what you hating on? You know what I mean? But I just want to tell Rooney family I really appreciate them giving me the opportunity to come here, man. You know, Cowher and all those guys, man, they just really showed me love and really accepted me and let me come into this organization, man, and do my thing and excel at a great high level, man. I also want to give props to the guys who I'm going in with, Fast Willie, the best to ever do it, Coach LeBeau, absolutely. And the original LeBeau, from what I knew, Jason Gildon, you know what I mean? He was the original LeBeau. Y'all know the other LeBeau, but that's the original LeBeau, you know what I mean? But I couldn't have did this by myself, man. I have a lot of people help me along the way in this journey that I had as far as my family and friends and things like that, man. I just want to thank all the people who helped me through these times and through the things I went through, especially my teammates. I was in a unique situation. I came here 2001. I had 3 D linemen that I played with for 11 years of my career. Chris Hokie, Aaron Smith, and Brett Kiesel. Those are all of my guys, man. Like, that never really happens, you know what I mean, with D linemen, man, for you to play with those type of guys, man. And I just want to let you guys know, man, I love you guys, man, and I appreciate you guys being here, especially Hokie. I know Hokie going through a whole lot right now, man, and I just really appreciate you, man, showing up, man, and showing me love, man. I really appreciate you. Another person, man, I really want to thank is Coach Mitch and his wife, Mama Joyce. They weren't able to make it here. They're a little older, and you know they got a lot of health issues and things going on, man. And I really wish they could have been here and celebrated this time with me. But I know if they could, they would, man. But Mitch is my guy, and I just love him so much, man. I wish he could be here, but he couldn't. But it's all good, man. And I know he's here in spirit. Man, Pittsburgh is a special place. Didn't know a lot about it when I got here. I had to figure out a lot of traditions and things like that, and the great traditions of the defense and just through the times, man. I haven't been. I got guys played on a lot of different teams. This is the only team I ever played on. The only team I ever played on, and I couldn't imagine being anywhere else but Pittsburgh. I couldn't imagine it. No doubt about it. Special thanks to all my coaches and everybody who helped me throughout the way, all the training staff, the weight room staff, the equipment room, all the guys who helped me. My main guy in the weight room staff, Marcel Pastor, who was always there when it was time for me to weigh in. My man. He always looked out for me, made sure I was straight, you know what I'm saying? It was always undisclosed, you know what I mean? But we kept it real, you know what I mean? Kept it real. Lastly, man, I'd like to thank my family who's all here, sisters, brothers, nieces, nephews. My big sister Tam over there, she thinks she my mama, you know what I mean? But it's all good, I love her, man. My son, Pudas, he been there for me, man. That's my guy, man. He been here the whole time. He seen me do it, and I really appreciate that, man. To my beautiful lady, Tori, That's my baby right there, man. She down with me. I don't know where I'll be without her. I'll be out of there, for real, for real. I really would be out of there, for real, if she wasn't here for me, man. And just everybody who helped me through this journey with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It's a lot of people I can thank, man, and tell I really appreciate it, man. But it's too long of a list to say everybody, man. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the main person in my life who's not able to be here today, which is my mom, who passed away in 2019. She was my rock. She was everything to me. And biggest fan, always down with me. And I hate that she's not here to be here in person, man, but I know she's here in spirit, and she's supporting me, and she's here with me, man. And I know for a fact she'll be sitting over there with her Bud Light, chilling. And she will be so proud of me, man. She will be so proud of me, man. And I just that's what I live for, man. To make her proud, to make my family proud. And I think with this honor, man, I think all my people are proud of me, man. And I just appreciate that, man. I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the man up above for giving me this huge opportunity to play on the greatest stage. I'm not talking about the Super Bowl. I'm talking about here at Heinz Field here in Pittsburgh. To the selection committee, I'd like to thank all of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This means the world to me. To the Rooney family, I appreciate you for embracing a young kid such as myself, coming out, searching for confidence, and embracing me as family. Thank you. I really appreciate you all. And rest in peace to Dan Rooney. I want to send a special thank you and show a lot of love to Dan Rooney Sr. Dan Rooney Jr. That's my guy. He followed me in high school. Like, a lot of y'all don't know this, and I don't even talk about it, but him and his wife was living in Clinton. That's where I'm from. And he watched me as a young running back. He watched me put it all on the field, week in and week out. He followed me through college. And he came my pro timing day. He looked me in my eyes. He was like, hey, you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? I was like, hey, what do it entail? You know, he said, I can get you there. You run another 4.2, and I got you. I ran a 4.26, and he looked at me. He's like, oh, go ahead. I'll be contacting you. And he did. He was a man of his word. He definitely contacted me. He contacted me on Monday, and the rest is history. I want to thank my parents. My parents, man, they're not here with me today, but I told them I was going to bring it home. And one thing my pops always told me, take his last name and take it across the waters. He always told me that. I didn't know what he meant by then, but making the Pro Bowls and being a part of such an amazing team, an amazing organization, I definitely understand now. He just want Willie Parker to be known, Willie Parker to get everything that Willie Parker deserved. And my mom, I remember when I was young, I come running off the field crying. And my mom telling me, she like pushed me back on the field like, no, boy, you talk about football all day long, we about to play some football. So I went back, I was crying. They had me at center too, but yeah, we're not gonna talk about the center aspect of it, but they had me at center for some reason, some odd reason, but they nicknamed me Wild Man Willie. Like, so they saw some type of talent, but I want to thank my parents, man, for definitely showing me a lot of love. Dan Rooney, Dan Rooney Jr. texted me that he wasn't going to be here today, so I want to send special love and special shout-outs to him, his family. He told me his son was going to be in the building. Man, I owe you everything, man, for sticking to your word, bringing me in. That meant everything to me. Thank you. I want to thank Kevin Colbert and Omar Khan for penciling my name in. Hey, I signed for 4.5. I'm not talking about $4,500,000. I'm talking about $4,500. That's what I'm talking about, and that was my signing bonus when I signed. And at that particular time, you know, Kevin Colbert, they penciled me in. I appreciate you, man, for managing such a spectacular team, keeping them personalities together, man, and you're still doing it today. I still get those texts every Tuesday, man, thank you, I appreciate you. Omar Khan, our relationship, it started off, a little rocky, me and Omar. And I got to tell you about it. So I had a routine. My routine was every day I had to do some extra work. So I get over there before everybody. I run the sled, I pull the sled, I do this over and over and over. But it was the end part of the day what me and Omar really got acquainted. And what happened was I go back to the hotel. Undrafted free agents go back to the hotel with rookies. I'm in a hotel, so I do my ritual, I do my push-ups, I do my sit-ups, and I watch 3 or 4 movies at night. And me, I thought the movies were free. So they didn't take my card. So Omar, as we were approaching the end of our stay, Omar comes to me, he said, hey, Willie, he said, I got an outstanding bill. I said, what you mean? He said, you have a $9,000 bill on your room. I said, a $9,000 bill? Now I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, how much those movies cost? So I looked at Omar, I said, Omar, I only signed for 4.5. And so Omar was like, what you mean? I was like, man, I only signed for $4,500. And my signing bonus don't even cover that. He said, Willie, you know what? Let's talk about this tomorrow. So the next day came, he kind of, I guess, forgot about it, but then 2 days he come to me, he said, Willie, we're going to take care of it. And I look at him, I'm like, yeah, yes. So Steeler Nation, right then and there, that's when I realized I can't be watching all those damn movies at night. Oh, man. I want to thank my offensive line. My offensive line, without you, you're the only position that, if you have a bad game, everybody on offense have a bad game. That's just how it goes. And y'all get you're very underappreciated. But when you have a good game, you create superstars. I'm not considering myself a superstar, but one thing I will say, I had a chance to play beside some superstars. And my offensive linemen, they definitely were superstars. Alan Faneca. I got this guy right here, and reason why I'm highlighting him out of a lot of my offensive linemen is because every time I had a big play, he's there to pick me up, every single time. So what that means is he's running, he's busting his ass every single play. Every single play, I'm running every 80-yarder, and he's the first one to greet me, no matter what. And that guy is a Hall of Famer on and off the field. Hines Ward. He deserves a round of applause. Hines Ward, another offensive lineman. He just flanked out a little bit. I gotta show love to my other offensive lineman. No disrespect, Hines, but Hines outside on that edge, oh my gosh. With the speed I had, the speed I had with Hines out there on that edge, he solidified a lot for me. He made a lot of things easy for me. And every day, each and every day, going against that legendary defense coached by Coach LeBeau, that defense, what it did for an undrafted free agent, it had my confidence super high. For one, being in the locker room with these guys, Casey Hampton, Joey Porter, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu, I was even wondering why at one time, I'm like, why Troy is not tackling me? We in training camp, but he just coming by, two-hand tackle. I didn't know anything about TP. I was young and dumb. So Coach told me, you don't want him tackling you. I said, why? This football. Now, my confidence going against these guys, I used to talk to them all the time. I'll get 200 on y'all. Y'all can't do this. They Willie, you won't even get 10 yards on us. They used to disrespect me a lot. So to make a long story short, that's the type of relationship I have with our defense. They disrespect me. But one thing I want to say about the legendary defense coached by the greatest defensive coach of all time, Coach LeBeau, that's my guy. And one thing Coach LeBeau brought to the table, he brought his wit, man. Every Christmas, I used to sit in my seat, listen to this guy, listen to him over and over. Just that Christmas carol that he recite is so amazing, and it brought us together and kept us close. And another guy on defense, that I want to show love to is Casey Hamp. You know, people wonder, you know, why I hit the outside on them zones a lot. So going against our defense, he's stuffed in the middle. So when I get the ball, he's the first thing I see, but I really didn't want him tackling me, no matter what. And he really lived up his name, Big Snacks, like, because he's way bigger than what he is right now. And it's impressive how he looked, actually. And I got to show you a lot of love on that one. You look real good, my man. Hey, but one person that I really want to show a lot of love to, man, and I talk about confidence going against that legendary defense over and over on five times out of 7 days a week, you know, is Joey Porter. This guy, what he did to me, or what he did for me, I don't think he get the respect that he deserved. I'm up here on this stage. This was the guy that brought me in, and he does it to a lot of rookies. And he don't ask for anything. Like, he used to take my family out. He used to do so much stuff. Like, he had my confidence so high. Like, I'm just talking to him. Like, he like, Willie, oh, you got this, 200 yards, let's get it. Like, let's get. He talking to me like this. I'm looking at him like, okay, I'm gonna go for 200 yards then. You know, but I promise you, this man, what he done for an undrafted free agent, we talk about Bus a lot, and Bus did his thing, coaching me up as an extra offensive coach. But Joey Porter, this guy really, really, really took me over the top. He really, I promise you. He took me, he played defense. He took me to a whole nother level mentally. Physically, I used to watch him and Casey do 315. They just rep it out. And I'm like, okay. I put my 275 up there, and I do it like 6 times, hard as I can. Like, they doing 315 15 times. I'm like, okay, I got to do something else then. So I got to get on box jumps. I got to do something they can't do. Like, so I get on box jumps, and I'm jumping boxes. I do my boxes. Yeah, then they look at me, they're like, Willie P., you down there getting it. I like, okay, they see me down here. And much love, man, much love. And Coach Cowher. We're going to Coach Cowher and Coach Tomlin. Coach Cowher, we had another, just like Omar Khan, we had another amazing relationship. And our relationship started off a little slow. I'm looking at Coach Cowher all the time. And I'm looking at him come in the facility. He don't talk to anyone. I'm like, I got to get this guy to talk to me. Some way, somehow, I got to get him to talk to me. Then he sits way down there, away from everybody, so you can't talk to him. He sit by himself, and it's like you can't mess with him. Like, so, and that was Coach Cowher every day. So I was like, okay, I go home, and part of my ritual when before I'm watching the movies, I'm thinking about how I can get Coach Cowher to talk to me. You know, so Coach Cowher placed me on kickoff cover team. And you know, he's a special teams guru. He put me on kickoff cover. I never played kickoff. I never played special teams in my life. So I'm on cover team. So I remember it was a Giants preseason game. Coach Cowher always said, 53-man roster. This is the only way undrafted free agent is going to make the team. So I'm like, okay, I got to make the team. Okay, cover team. I run down the first one down the field, ear hole, bam. Like, oh, man, my feet in the air, my head to the ground. I got ear hole. That wasn't really what set it off. It was the next play what I got coached up most about. So the second play, after you get ear hole, never been on a kickoff team ever in your life. So I'm coming down. Now I'm looking. I'm coming down. I'm probably the 5th one down. We in the team meeting room. Now, the meetings are brutal with Coach Cowher. He fast forward, rewind. He's a special teams guru. So he rewind back to when I got ear hole. Then he fast forward when I'm like just trotting down the field. So he fast forward, rewind. He said, who is this guy? I wasn't going to say anything. He said, who is this guy? And the special teams coach said, that's Willie. He like, Willie, urgency. And that's all I heard, and he traumatized me 1,000%. So then I knew, I was like, 53-man roster, 53, I got to make this team. So he come to me, this the funny part, and this when I really was convinced that I might be out of here. He come to me, practice. He said, Willie, come here. So I go to him. He said, special teams not for you. We taking you off special teams. I was looking like, damn, I'm gonna get cut. I got to do something. So he said, and walked away. So I'm confused now. So Coach Holt come to me. Coach Holt was my running back coach at the time. He come to me like, hey, what did the big guy say to you? I said, he just took me off of special teams and told me special teams not for me. And then Coach, this is really what made me like confused. He walks off and like, keep up the good work. Now I'm like, what in the hell? Am I about to get cut, released? So in practice, this is how I practice. I treated it as a game. I'm out there running, in my mind, I'm running touchdowns against the #1 defense in the world. And that's how I prosper. A few weeks later, he brought me in his office, told me, Willie, you my starting running back. And I'm looking at, I started crying because I'm like, man, I thought the man was about to cut me. He was about to release me, like after our previous conversations. But to make a long story short, man, I thank everyone. I thank that defense, man, for getting my confidence. Peasy, I thank you. Man, I thank you all, man, the whole Steeler Nation. It's been a fun ride. But one thing in closing, I want to share with each and every one of y'all. I grew up, and Mean Joe Cream might kill me, but I grew up a Cowboys fan. And one thing I want to say about that, I used to like Emmett, I used to like Barry Sanders, and I really wish I could run like those guys. But then one day I just kind of figured that, you know, after I'm in my helmet, Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm taking off, and I'm in my helmet, and I see Alifanica get that block, and I'm taking off for 75 yards. I'm in my helmet, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to be like Willie Parker. Thank each and every one of y'all. I love you, Steeler Nation. It's been a great ride. Love you.
It is a great day to be alive now, let me tell you. My players can tell you that every day that they ever stepped into that facility, the minute they got into the defensive meeting room, the first words out of my mouth were going to be, man, it's a great day to be alive. But this is really a great day to be alive. Some of us are damn lucky to just be alive. You heard from 3 guys, this will be the 4th, and we kind of span the age brackets. We all have one thing in common in terms of our first careers. We're all retired. And they're still pretty much in the meat of their life. And I'm 50 years old. But I'm 50 years old with 37 years of experience, man. I thought I would try to get across to you a little bit what it's like to be one of the 4 guys that are featured here tonight. And that events such as this, how important they are in each of our lives. And I think I can speak for the other 3 guys. A couple things I want to do before I make my one little point. Guys talked a lot about their families. Mine is here. It's the proudest moment of my life. But they all have something to say about their moms. And beyond a doubt, my mother was the strongest influence in anything that I ever did, which was led off with, I've never been in jail. I ain't gonna be in jail. I never had a debt that I didn't try to pay off. That's all because of my mom, and we all know who the strength of the family is. It's the mom. The old man's out, yeah, he's making a living, he's working. But the tough part of life is raising the kids, and the mothers do that. So before we go any further, let's salute every mother that's sitting in this room tonight. We wouldn't have a democracy without them, man. They're the one that teach the values. The other thing I'd like to do before I tell my little teeny story is salute Coach Cowher. He hired me twice. And they were both worked for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The best thing that ever happened to me professionally happened in this building, in this city. And I'm always be grateful to the Rooney family, to the Steeler organization, to Coach Cowher and to Coach Tomlin, because they kept me on the staff and they hired me. And Coach Cowher, you know, I was speaking one time. I don't know, most of you will get this story, but one time, one of the real featured parts of a game in Bill's career, we had a great play. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a big yardage play, and they called it back, and they called a foul. Whew! And Coach became incensed. And he ran up, last play of the half, and the teams were going back to the locker room for the start of the half. Coach Cowher goes up and he stuffs his rag back in this official's pocket. Well, here, most of you remember this or not. So I'm speaking that summer to some people, and they say, how is it working for Coach Cowher? I said, he got to be a great guy to work for. He's so innovative. He's such a leader, and he's so knowledgeable in what he does. How is it working for him? I said, oh, it's great, man, to work for a guy that picks that pocket up and stuffs it back in that ball. Laugh a minute every day. He was a great head coach, and so was Mike Tomlin. And I benefited and was lucky enough to get to work for both of them for a long time. But I thought I would tell you a little bit of what this night means to people like us, the four of us who are being honored. The game's a very popular activity. And I'm thinking about, how can I tell these people, how many ways can you thank people? How many can you say thank you? Because the support of the Steeler Nation, the people of Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, and really the Steeler Nation is everywhere. The effect that being here and being in the environment, you've heard every one of these guys talk about the brotherhood that exists and the factors that leads to the next journey of your life. When I said we're all retired because we're in a game as players, I was blessed enough to play 14 years, but still I was 35 years when I had to retire, and these guys were a similar age. You got basically the whole rest of your life in front of you, but you got the tools to go with it. And nobody can thank anybody enough for giving them that shove. And I will be eternally grateful for my affinity to football, but the ability to work with the players that I got and the ability that the Steeler organization had to get those players for me to coach. People say about, oh, he's zone blitz or whatever. I just had great players, folks. I'm telling you, and I was smart enough to give them a good defense and get the hell out of their way and let them go to work. And along the way, they made me a pretty good coach. But I like history and I like to read. And you pick up all type of great quotes. Now, quotes are how you perceive them. And one that struck me, and it's always stuck with me, and I think I can relate it to how we feel, or at least I feel tonight. The Civil War was, I was very much hypnotized by that period that was the greatest challenge our country's ever come through in terms of is our form of democracy going to make it? And it was fought over 4 years, and it shouldn't have probably went that long because one side had all the people and all the industry, and the other side had all the good generals. But these guys all went to West Point. They all went together. They were all Americans. And so they knew each other pretty good, and the battles were pretty ferocious. And after the battle, they would go reconnoiter and see what happens. It was virtually a war of where a group of people didn't agree with what was going on in Washington, and they said, we don't want to be a state, United States anymore. We're going to start a new country. And the other guys were trying to get the land back. So after one of the battles, I think it was Chickamauga. Don't quote me on that, but Lee had a way, the General Lee for the Confederate forces, he had a way, he would split his force, and they had the smallest number of soldiers. And one of the foundation rules of the generals, never split your forces in front of a superior army, because you're just going to make yourself weaker. Well, Lee would bring his guys up, and he'd send Jackson back around, and while he held everybody's attention over here, Jackson would come out of the woods and roll up here and just cave the side in because they couldn't get enough people over here to defend. You know, it sounds a little bit like a zone blitz. Put Casey Hampton right up here with Brett Kiesel and Aaron Smith, and let Ferry and Foote dance around down in here, and then bring Troy and his boys around over here, and before you know it, the quarterback's on his ass fat on the ground. That's what the zone blitz was. But in reconnoitering this battlefield, I think it was Chickamauga, Lee said to Jackson, because the North had to pull back, they didn't hold any ground at all, so it was technically a Southern victory. And these guys were professional soldiers, so they're feeling pretty good riding around up there. And but it was costly and a huge price paid by both sides. And Lee said, and here's my quote to Jackson, he said, you know, it's good that war is so terrible, lest we grow too fond of it. And what he was saying, that this is okay, we won it, but this is too costly of an experience. Well, the costly part of ours and what we chose for a life as professional athletes is not going to last too long. You're going to go through your life, you're going to have a family, you're going to get your chosen profession, and you've got all this to do, and then at some point in time, you're going to be, the job will be pretty much done, and you'll be looking back, and sometimes there's a whole lot more to see in the rear view than there is down the road. But when you have the sense of accomplishment, and when you can go to a function of this nature, I'm telling you, I've been lucky to have my name mentioned a lot of places. But when you start this program with all those guys that are in this museum of honor in this city, in this franchise, and your name is in there with them, along with them, well, maybe it's a good thing that you can go through, be a little further through your life, and you can look back. Because when I had Keese and I had Casey and I had Ferrier, and I mean, I can go on and name them all. It was all about the next play. It was all about the next game. It was all about winning this championship. It was all about making sure you're in shape in the off season. You were always going forward, and you never really totally had the chance to realize how good these guys were and how gifted they were at their profession. And then every now and then, you may be lucky enough to get to come to a situation like this, where a few of us are honored and a few more of their teammates come back, and you get to see them again. And you get to see them and hold them. When as you go through your life and you scatter and you all over the corners of this United States, you never see them. And if you're lucky, you get to talk to them on the telephone a couple of times every 2 or 3 months. But when you get in this environment and the memories are tangible, and you remember the price that you paid to get where they got, and the honor it was to be there going along with them. And for that, Mr. Rooney, Steeler organization, I thank you from the bottom of the heart of my heart, because no one is any more prouder to be in your museum than I am. Thank you so much, folks.